What's up team, and welcome to this week's video. We're out on the roads, it's Sunday, it's about 18 degrees already, going up to about 25 today. It's about 10 o'clock in the morning, and because it's Sunday and it's warm, it means it's one thing. For me, it's long ride day, and also means coffee and cake day. But today I also want to talk about recovery rides and rest weeks. So how to do them, why they're important, and what are the benefits of them. So as cyclists, whether you've got a some sort of training plan or ride you like to do or not, unlike other sports, it's really easy just to go out or hop on the trainer and absolutely smash yourself into the ground every single ride, especially if you're out and you're trying to get that KOM or try and beat your PB on a Strava segment. Whereas if you were running, for example, it's fairly high impact, so you've got all those forces going through your calves, your knees, your quads. They kind of stop you from going hard every single run because you'd get super duper sore. Whereas on the bike, fairly low impact, you can kind of go sore as much as you, or not go sore, you can kind of go hard as much as you like without feeling too much in the way of soreness. So why is that an issue? It's because basically when you try and go hard all the time or every single ride and you don't have any sort of recovery rides or recovery weeks, that level of difficulty you're feeling on a ride might not actually be your top performance. It might be that you're going hard on that day, but because you've done a couple of days or a couple of weeks before that of hard work as well, your performance has actually decreased and you're not able to go as hard as you would have done having had a couple of recovery rides or a recovery week every now and again. So recovery rides and recovery weeks, what's the difference? Well, recovery rides are sort of individual rides that you do during the week. So for example, you might do a hard day on a Tuesday, and then on a Wednesday you might do an easy day before going hard again on the Thursday. Whereas a recovery week isn't a week of doing nothing, it would be having a week of lower intensity between weeks of kind of harder training, if you like. So it's really important to include both in your routine if you're wanting to maintain your performance and increase your fitness consistently moving forwards. Even if you're not doing consecutive days of training, for example, hard day Tuesday, easy day Wednesday, hard day Thursday, still important to include recovery rides to help your body adapt, recover, and go harder the next time you're out, because it can take a couple of days to fully recover. So for example, if you do a hard ride on a Monday, then on a Wednesday you still might do an easy, more slower pace ride, and then on a Sunday on your long ride you can hammer it again. So who should be using recovery rides? Well, if you're training 3 or more times a week, then recovery rides be really important to implement. If you're only training twice a week out on the bike, then you've probably got enough rest days in between those 2 rides to go really hard on both of them. Whereas if you're training 3 or more times a week, not as many days in between training, so therefore probably more important to start to include at least one recovery ride during the week. But in terms of recovery weeks, everybody can benefit from recovery weeks. Even if your training isn't super duper hard all the time, we've still got busy lives, stressful jobs, family commitments that all increase our level of a hormone called cortisol, or a stress hormone, and training just adds to that. So every couple of weeks, really important to have a recovery week, not a full rest week because we want to keep up our level of fitness, but a full recovery week just to lower those stress levels, help us recover, absorb that training, and then crack back on again after a week. And depending on how much training you do, depends on how many weeks hard training you can have before you need a recovery week. So for example, if you're doing 4 or 5 hard sessions a week, then you probably need a recovery week around about every 3 or 4 weeks. However, if you're only doing 2 sessions a week, then you could probably go more like 8 weeks, 9 weeks before needing a recovery week, but still really important to include those into your plan or into your sort of training program, whatever it is you're doing. What's exactly encompassed within a recovery ride? Well, it's just purposefully keeping it easy. So if you train by heart rate or power, that's just keeping it in zone 2, nice easy effort level. Or if you don't use anything specific to train by, then it's just keeping it at a kind of 4 or 5 out of 10 for the whole ride. And for a specific recovery ride, you don't have to go for any less time or distance, it's just keeping that intensity a little bit lower. So if you normally go out for, I don't know, an hour during the week, or hit up the trainer for an hour or an hour and a half, whatever it is, you can still do that length of time, but just rein the intensity back so that you're not really hammering it, you're not struggling, and your heart rate's not getting too high or elevated. So for a recovery week, it's not a rest week. You still want to train, just not as intensely. If you have a whole week off, then you'll just come back the week after feeling really slow, really lethargic, and have lost a decent level of fitness. So you still want to train, just not as hard. If you're someone who likes numbers, then for recovery weeks, you're looking to reduce your intensity or the amount of times you're kind of going hard by around half. So for example, if you usually peg it up 4 hills on your usual ride, then peg it up 2 of them instead. Or if you're doing 4 lots of 10-minute efforts, then just change it to kind of 2 10-minute efforts instead, and do the rest of the ride nice and easy. It also helps you kind of reset mentally, because going hard week on week is pretty tough, especially when we have lots of other responsibilities. So just getting out on the bike, forgetting about any responsibilities you have, and enjoying it, enjoying the wind in your hair, if you have any hair, is really important, and will help you recover both physically, obviously, but also give you a bit of a mental break as well. You could also throw in a couple more cafe stops on those easy rides, and maybe try out a couple of new cafes. Speaking of which, I'm not too far from my scheduled cafe stop of this Sunday long ride. This hill should not be attempted on a recovery ride all week. It's part of the Tour de Yorkshire, Cow and Calf Rocks, massive hill. Oh my god, look at this. Here we go. Look at that view. Oh, nearly there. It said it was meant to be about 25 degrees today, but it's actually been pretty cloudy on this ride. But as per, the hills in Yorkshire have not disappointed. If you know Yorkshire at all, I've just kind of come out of Ilkley. Good couple of hills up there, Cow and Calf Rocks onto Ilkley Moor. So I think I've done 3,100 feet of climbing already, and probably about 2 or 3 miles to go until I get back home, so not far to go. Oh, there we have it, a very warm Sunday long ride completed. Did about 47 miles, had about 3,300 feet of climbing, all in just under 3 hours. Hopefully now as well you know a little bit more about recovery rides and recovery weeks. Remember, in terms of recovery rides, make sure you split up your training, especially if you're doing 3 or more rides per week, with some recovery riding. This will mean when you do those hard rides and do go for those Strava segment PBs, you have more in the tank and you're going to get more from those hard efforts and actually increase your fitness while doing those hard efforts as well, as opposed to just hammering yourself every single ride, getting more tired and more tired week on week, I'm really struggling to perform well out on the road. And the same again for your recovery weeks. If you're not training too much, you're maybe doing 2 or 3 sessions a week, you can probably get away with a recovery week every 7 or 8 weeks. However, if you are training more than that and doing a couple of hard sessions every week, then a recovery week maybe every 3 to 4 weeks is probably the best way to go. And again, that'll just help you not just physically, but also mentally as well. Remember, cycling should be enjoyable. I know I sometimes get into the habit of hammering myself too much, and then you end up not enjoying the rides or not enjoying being out on the road because you're worried about the intervals you've got to do or how hard the ride's going to be. Sometimes it's nice just to go out there, enjoy yourself, hit up some cafes, eat some cake, and enjoy having the wind going through your hair. And also remember that it's super important to recover off the bike as well as on the bike. Even if you are having a recovery week, still important to do as much as you can in terms of off the bike, nutrition, sleep, etc. to recover to the best of your ability. So do click the video up there to have a look at how best to recover off the bike. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe for new videos every week. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good weekend.